Welcome to the new episode of r/malicious compliance. Story is posted by Jiggly Bum. Is this what you wanted? Using my phone, so I'm sorry if the format is funky. For context, I worked in a retirement home as the only nurse on during any said shift, and worked graveyard shifts. Even this shift was jam-packed with duties, because they didn't ever want us to be bored. A good 1/3 of these duties involved cleaning, that got overlapped by housekeeping at least once a week. I'm fairly creative and my managers knew this. My one manager asked me to do window art paintings, to make the place seem more festive for a super important party they were throwing for the public. They were going out of their way to make it look nicer than usual, because their bosses and the owners were going to attend, as well as local news. I agreed to do the painting for free because it sounded fun. They asked me a week before the party, so I figured I would just use my 1 hour total break time during a shift to do the painting instead of coming in on my one day off that week. The paintings were all over the glass doors and floor to ceiling windows, so it took some time. I spent 5 of my shifts doing them, and the night before the party I finally finished. I painted the hour closer to the beginning of my shift to finish it on day 5. The rest of the shift was insane with emergencies that only I could tend to because I'm the only actual nurse on duty. Needless to say, a lot of the little cleaning things didn't get done, such as cleaning windows and mopping the floor. I left the manager a note of all the cleaning duties that I didn't have time for, because I usually finish all my duties and like to keep them informed when I'm unable to. I come in through the front doors on my last night shift and smile because the painting is exactly what I envisioned and it's finally done. I got a lot of texts from co-workers and managers saying how much they loved the paintings and how it will be perfect for pictures. In my bedroom is a note with my name on it. My manager wrote me a note saying it was unacceptable that these duties were unfinished and I should not have wasted company time doing the painting instead of my duties. Mind you, I had told her I would only be using my break times to do the paintings when I was initially asked to do them. There were cameras pointing at the areas I was painting, so she was able to see that I never spent more than an hour per shift painting. I'm so mad at this point reading the letter. My shift finishes at 7 AM and the party is set to start at 11 AM. Malicious compliance. I washed the hell out of those windows that night. Goodbye art. I went home before that manager got there, so I didn't have to explain. My co-workers told me the other managers were all mad at her for ruining the photo OP spot and understood why I cleaned it off. Still makes me smile thinking about it. People have given some suggestion to OP on this post. Let's see. First suggestion from Kyra 5 Thaders. Wow, what a frustrating situation. It's great that your co-workers understood and had your back in the end. Next suggestion from Tribble. As someone who's spent a lot of time with family in various forms of care, I can tell you that the entire industry is run by checks notes, f***ing morons, ex-cons, or both. Next suggestion from Kfwyturk. OP. A good 1/3 of these duties involve cleaning that got overlapped by housekeeping at least once a week. OP. I'm the only actual nurse on duty. Needless to say, a lot of the little cleaning things didn't get done, such as cleaning windows and mopping the floor. Lol. Nickel pinching bastards. Paying RN or LPN wages for a cleaning lady. They know the nurse can't always get her done, so they do have housekeeping do cleaning at least once a week. One more reason nursing homes have trouble finding employees. Next suggestion from Bexu2. So glad the other managers got mad at your manager. She must felt so embarrassed, but she couldn't say a thing. Ha. Next suggestion from Myopic Pickle. Sounds like they needed fewer managers and more nurses. Let's read today's second news story, posted by KO Real. Car dealer tried to rip me off, ended up having to pay inflated maintenance bill themselves. Not a native speaker or writer. This happened about 17 years ago in a major city in the very south of the Netherlands with a Renault dealership. I had a new job, and we needed a second car. We bought a new Twingo, a car that went for about 12,000 euros. There were 2 stipulations in the contract when we bought the car. One was that we had to get financing through Renault, and 2 was that 3 years maintenance was included. We financed a minor part for 3 years at 0% interest. After the first year, I took the car for its first service. I had about 12,000 kilometers on the odometer. When I dropped the car off, I was asked if there was anything that needed attention. I think I answered something like, do whatever you need to do. In the late afternoon, when I picked up the car, 3 rather bulky men were standing behind the service desk. I remember they were really focused on me when I was presented with the bill. The bill was for about €1,000. And for a 1-year-old car with just 12,000 kilometers. I immediately understood what had happened. They must have figured that they could inflate the bill with all kinds of nonsense maintenance actions, since I gave them carte blanche, and to avoid any troubles they made sure that I could be intimidated by them being with 3 people. I just very friendly asked for my car key. But you have to pay first. No, I don't. Please, may I have my car keys? Instead of enlightening them straight away, I kept going like this for a bit longer. When things started to get a bit unfriendly, I reminded the rep that I had bought the car at this dealership including 3 years of maintenance. All 3 guys turned a few shades lighter, frantically searching for the contract, whispering, moving away to the office out of earshot. It took about 10 minutes before the rep came back out and handed me my keys. I ended up getting its 3rd service just before the 3 years had elapsed, and as soon as I got the title to the car, I traded it in for a car of a different brand. And as you would expect, the bill for the 2nd and 3rd services was less than €300 to €400. Not sure if this is the right Reddit. The compliance part is that did everything they were supposed to do and way more, and I complied as well by reminding them that they were responsible for all costs. People have given some suggestion to OP on this post. Let's see. First suggestion from Lumpy Branch. I cannot stand this kind of business ethics. Here's my story. I bought a set of snow tires from Big O in the US with a 3-year unlimited warranty. I took my car in for a flat tire repair, and they told me the puncture is too close to the sidewall, and they can't repair it. I would need a brand new tire. They have the tire in stock, and can get it done in an hour. I say great. Let's get the paperwork going. When I get to the counter and put down my warranty info, they realize I'm not going be the one paying for the new tire. The story changes so fast to it's not actually that bad. We can probably get it patched for you after all. Like, is it safe or not? Stupid. Next suggestion from Dabuba. Not your typical MC, but I love it. Dealership maliciously complies with your request to do whatever they need to and don't realize that they have to foot the bill for it. Brilliant. Next suggestion from Wildcat. I have a 2013 truck with 293,000 miles on it. I still have the paperwork from when I bought it with a lifetime warranty on the engine. I'm looking forward to the day I walk into the dealership with that in my hand. I doubt it will end up being honored, but it's going to be a fun conversation either way. Next suggestion from Captain Cinders. A friend got a lifetime warranty on her exhaust. 20 years later, he is on the same car and the 3rd exhaust. Each time he got it replaced, he gets presented with the bill, and every time he whips out the warranty from 20 years ago. Next suggestion from OK Mirror. I had a dealership sell me the maintenance plan, and I had to fight them every single time I came in on it. Never going there again. Let's read today's 3rd news story, posted by No Builder. Insurance company requires repair quotes on letterhead. My pleasure. My husband and I bought a boat and a storage lot to flip. We spent months of time and buckets of money to fix her up, and we were getting close to being done. The work included painting and rehabbing the mast, the stick that holds the sails, which was being stored in a cradle next to the boat. It was well inside our space, but it did extend beyond the boat itself a few feet, so we marked it with a neon orange safety cone. Just days after painting the mast, my husband called me from the storage lot with the news that someone had damaged it. Turns out the facility's camera caught the rat trap guy drive right into the mast, knock it to the asphalt, drive over it, stop, then back over it. Naturally, he didn't leave a note, but his truck was easily eyed, and he fessed up when confronted. He didn't want to go through insurance, so we worked up a figure, based on us buying used gear, most of it not cheap, to replace what was broken, and doing all the work ourselves for free. I think it was less than $1,000, and anyone who knows boats will know what a bargain that was. Even so, he decided to go through insurance after all. The agent who called us needed a quote from a business, not just our scribbled estimate. So I contacted our local cheap boatyard for a DIY quote. They'd just store the mast while we did all the work. That bumped the total we were seeking to about $2,500. We spent 5 months trying to get the agent to respond, and when he finally did, it was to say they couldn't accept an emailed quote. It had to be an attachment on letterhead. The rinky-dink yard only sends quotes in the body of emails because they have zero forks to give. He all but called us liars and scammers who could have had their buddy supply this fake-looking estimate. No, company policy required at least 2 quotes on letterhead to move forward. I confirmed that he would not be able to process our claim without those 2 quotes. Correct. I also confirmed these yards could be anywhere in the state. Correct. I warned him the new quotes would be significantly higher, but he snidely said that was fine, as long as they were on letterhead. Cue malicious compliance, and some FAFO. Having worked in the boating industry for most of my life, I knew exactly who to call. The 2 most respected, that is expensive, boat yards in the state. These quotes included the yards doing all the work, replacing all damaged gear with new, storage fees, and transportation to and from our storage lot. Both were hundreds of miles away. Unsurprisingly, he called as soon as he got the quotes asking if he could pretty please use the rinky-dink yard's quote. Oh, you can't do that. You might get in trouble, since it's company policy, right? We've got to follow all the rules, lest someone think we are scammers, right? He wasn't happy. A week later, we got a check for the original quote we scribbled down for the rat trap guy. Guess the agent decided to see if we'd just bend over after he called us liars and cheats. No way. I called our insurance, who got on the line with the other agent and gave him what for. 2 days later, we got a second check for the remainder. I'm sure someone spit on it, but I was happy enough to deposit that $14,000. People have given some suggestion to OP on this post. Let's see. First suggestion from Mart Fon. The stick that holds the sails. Next suggestion from grouchy old Genzer. I went through the opposite of this. Daughter hit a car while parking. Offered the guy $1,000 cash. He said no. The estimate was like $2,000, and so he said take it to insurance. I took a look at the pictures of the damage and noticed that most of his damage was on the quarter panel above the wheel well. My daughter drove a Sebring, and no way did it damage his car above the wheel well. I pointed this out to my agent. Guy got $750 for the damage my daughter did. Next suggestion from Krunder. This reminds me of the one where the guy had the hoa spec out the dog pond before they found out that they were contractually obligated to pay for all the work. Next suggestion from Overall Taylor. And that insurance company couldn't even call it fraudulent since you were playing by their rules. Next suggestion from Ryuji. Goddamn, you really raked them across the coals and they deserved it. Kinda hope that dummy gets fired for trying to accuse you of lying when he could just as easily Google the business name, call them, and ask them to confirm the quote. Thank you.